Alright, I just realized my gain on Camtasia was all the way up, but, for some reason, the indicator is like frozen, so I don't know if it's working or not. Now, what we're going to talk about today is confidence, okay? Um, Anybody who is swimming with confidence, okay? There's something about that individual that you'll start to notice. Um, the his ability to um, be calm, relax, under pressure because it's All right, so let's not sugarcoat it. We're IT folks, okay? All right, every damn thing is an emergency, okay? Everything is priority, okay? All right, and it's one of those things where it just you just you get used to it, okay? All right. I'm trying to figure out if I should tell you this story. Um, okay. All right. So I work for a particular bank. All right. And the first time I worked there, I was nervous. I was, doing, making dumb mistakes, because I was trying to not make mistakes. You see what I'm saying? And I was trying to be perfect in my projects and my deployment and blah 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 blah. And of course, I caused scenarios that didn't have to exist and had no idea. I was a nervous wreck. I was getting paid most than I ever got paid in the field at that point. I just got into a senior role, and it was just like all this stuff. Like we are our worst enemy. Okay, now true story. Okay, years go by after I left the company. Okay, all right, or left the bank, came back to that same bank, and my attitude was like completely different. Okay, all right. I did not give a crap with giving a crap. Okay, all right. First of all, when you work in an environment where everyone's focusing on pointing the blame instead of fixing the problem, okay, you kind of just be like, two things will happen. You'll play that game, or you just be like, yo, I'm not playing that game. Okay, all right. Now, okay, responsibility is responsibility. All right, take the responsibility. Don't try to hide it. All right, and I see that all the time. Okay, and you're just not going to win with that. Okay, you might be able to get away with it, but look, just like tell your manager, it's like, hey, that outage, yeah, yeah, that was my bad, right? Okay, not in that sense. not in no sense of like word for word, but you get the idea, right? Okay, all right. Um, you start recognizing that you are a human being, man. Okay, you make mistakes. Okay, you know there are some big mistakes that you're gonna beat yourself up on it. Okay, um, just don't beat yourself up on it for years and years and years and years. Now, one of the great thing about being a contractor is, okay, you're on a contract and you do something stupid. Okay, I mean like dumb, like okay, all right, true story. No, true story. Okay, so um, I'm actually replacing a core switch. Okay, all right. Now I'm getting the core switch. All right, ready. Now I log in. Keep this in mind. Now I had someone set up the new core switch. Okay, in the lab. Okay, so I go in and I log in to my into the real core switch. Okay, do some commands, look at span tree, look at some, look how it's configured, making sure we're following the standard configs and our templates, and making sure we're using the correct queuing, okay, for our switches, and I copy those configs, all right, and I go through and I log into the second switch. Okay, all right. Now you gotta understand. All right, you have a core switch, so you're gonna have a backup core switch. So now I have four terminals up. Okay, and my dumbass, okay, because I'm rushing, doing my thing, doing what I do best, right, right, and next thing you know, I reboot the wrong switches. Okay, now switches are gonna come back up, right? Sure, okay, sure, but that just doesn't happen in our field. Okay, something always happens, and on the reboot, okay, which yeah, it created a severity effect. Okay, if you don't know what that means, severity means this problem is a severity 3, severity 2, severity 1. Okay, right? Normally with a severity 1, everyone probably goes into one room. We call it a war room. All right, and we don't leave that war room for days until the problem is resolved. If it takes days, okay. All right, that's why we call it a war room. Now, um, on the reboot, okay, all the voice configurations was never saved. That switch, that core switch, has been up for years, okay, and no one has done a write to memory since the last major project going over the voice over IP. Okay, so none of it worked. Now, luckily, you know, they had SolarWinds and some other some other method of backing up configs. All I know is there are two locations. Yeah, one is SolarWinds, I believe, that backed up the configs, and it was another third party program. So we could actually go back, okay, and go back hours prior to the to the outage. All right. Now keep in mind, I'm the one who caused the outage. All right. Now, okay, so I'm sitting there on a conference call, like, oh my god, right? This is like the worst. Always your first. This is the first time I've ever done this. So this is like the worst day of my life. Okay, all right, and it's not that bad because I admitted to it. I contacted um, support to let them know what was going on. Contacted the knock. Okay. However, it's not just that simple. You contact the knock, and now the knock sends out information to their managers, and then the managers go to other managers, and blah 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 blah. And now you got VPs on the call, all right, and you got vice president on the call, blah blah blah. It gets pretty nasty because everyone's saying, oh well, Kyle's the one that actually rebooted the switch, okay, and it caused all these other problems, which is that's not what they're saying, okay, but in my mind, that's what I'm hearing, right? Because of Kyle, right? That's why we don't have any voice traffic, okay, all right. So in all honesty, the outage was actually a beneficial thing because no one had no idea of this. Okay, it's one thing to have something go down. Okay, all right, that's fine. We have redundancy, but the redundancy is not there either. Do you see what I'm saying? So this was great that this happened in this scenario. All right, it's still of it happening in another scenario that really caused serious crap, where communication was nothing. Okay, and now of course we have WebEx, okay, or Teams, right? I don't even know if we even had Teams back then. I think we had Microsoft Teams, I believe so. I can't remember, but nonetheless, some type of IM and conference that we can do, okay, all right, where we can still get on a conference call, all right. So that part's great. Voice traffic is down. That's fine. We still have IP destination traffic working, and now we can still communicate and get on conference calls. So no big deal. Now, okay. So, since that day, okay, remember I said don't repeat the problem. Okay, now, okay, whenever I'm working on a system that's in production and you gotta understand how the confusion is, okay? All right. Once you change your host name, okay, of the device that you're working on to the same host name, all right, as your production network, how do you really know the difference? Okay, all right. Yes, okay, you could actually definitely do a show version. Okay, you can actually do a show up in anything's brief. You know, uh, you, and what I'm assuming is right. You're looking for similar differences, right? All right, you can actually do a show run to look at the configs. Okay, however, all right, guys, you're doing your thing. Okay, all right, and when you go to reload a switch, everything's the same. So, you know, yeah, you can place your windows in a certain part of the screen, and guess what? You forget which one's which, or you believe this is a production, and right when you hit enter after reload, you're like, oh shit, yeah, okay. So what do I do? Okay, so now from here on out, all right, even today, all right, production is one color, and lab or replacements or whatever that's not production, okay, is another color. All right, meaning that I would literally have my font color red on production. Red means no, 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 no. All right, seriously. Matter of fact, I don't even go and config T on that actual device that's red because it's production. All right, and I've never had a problem since. All right, so when you're a contractor, the nice thing about it is whatever mistakes you make on that contract gets erased when you go to the new contract. Okay, you can totally screw up, right? And they'd be like, you know, Kyle, you just, you know, we consider you an internal threat. No, that has never been said to me, thank God. Okay, but because I don't even know what I would have done back then. Because, like I said, we are our worst enemy. All right, once that confidence gets to a particular level, okay, all that stuff goes out the window. Okay, it just all goes out the window. All right, I have literally, and I mean, guys, these are like really dumb, petty little things, right? And you just don't think about it. Okay, so you're in front of the you do a um, uh, image or OS upgrade, right? And you need to cycle the device, okay? And it's a switch, so you got to power it off. So so you're in the front of the device, okay? All right, and so you have already disconnected the console, all right, console cable, all right, and you count the actual devices in the rack, right? And so, oh, okay, so I'm on unit blah 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 blah, right? Like let's say unit 20. That's or rack or or space 20 on the actual where the screws go in. All right, that's where my switch is. So you go in the back and you count, okay? All right, and still doing something like which is what I do now. Okay, what I'll do now is I'll take a slice of a piece of paper and lay it on top of the switch. So when I go into the back, that identifies or marks my switch and which one I need to unplug. Okay, all right. Or don't take the console cable out until you finish. Okay, another thing that I would do today. All right, and this is all because of the mistakes that I've made in the past. Okay, so these mistakes are necessary, growing pains, and necessary for you to be more on point as you get farther in in your career, and that confidence, okay, starts to grow. All right, you get to the point where you get so much confidence, the I can't do it, right, and I swear to Lord, Ladies and gentlemen, I have put devices in that I've never even seen before. Okay? All right? I have put in terminal servers. I have put in routers. I have put in switches that I don't even know the command line of. Okay? Never have I said I'm a Cisco guy. Yes, be strong, be determined. Be Cisco has its purpose and its reasoning. Okay? All right? Because Cisco will always be, you know, the um, the cause of my success, and I would never take that from them. I could work on 10 contracts in a row with Cisco and hate Cisco with a passion because of the way they do business, but I would never take that from them. Cisco gave me the opportunity to turn a dream into a reality with me, and I would never, ever, ever, ever forget that type of power that they gave me. Okay? Now, I took that power and went with it, but the fact that they gave me that opportunity, all right? Let's face it, we don't get opportunities in our lives. Life sucks. All right? So keep that in mind. Confidence is necessary. Okay? All right? Now, don't wave your confident flag throughout the office and be like, I'm a bad man. I'm the smartest guy in the room. Okay, that's not confidence. That's just being a douchebag. Okay? All right? Um, you will be able to figure out over a period of time the what I call image, the people who create an image. All right, they're the ones on the conference call, always speaking. Okay, all right, always making comments, always saying that they did this and did this and did that. Okay, and eventually you start realizing that it's all a facade because that individual wants the image of being the smartest person on the project. That's his motivation. Okay, let him do that. Okay, I don't have time for that. All right, I don't call him out on it. I don't speak towards it. Okay, I just don't deal with it. I got enough work to worry about. All right, now there's also individuals that always have mastered the way of getting other people to do their work for them. Okay, I don't engage with them either. Okay, now by now you know that I will trip over my boss's feet, body, and head to run down the hall to assist someone who's trying to do something and needs help. All right, you can tell that just by my character, who I am. Okay, and I will spend hours of my time, even though I have a project bearing down on my neck. Okay, to pull you to a side and whiteboard a scenario to educate you on how technology works. Okay, I could I could teach you everything that I've known, but you would never take my confidence, my power, my ability, my asset to what I do and bring to the table because that confidence is so high. Okay? Now, first 3 years, oh my God, my confidence was in the crapper. Okay? I kept telling myself how I can't do this because I'm not smart enough. Okay? Hence, I can't do this. You are what you perceive to be. Now, I'm also a strong believer in do not go out and do things that you do not belong doing. Stay in your lane. Okay? All right? If you are a routing and switch guy, stop trying to do firewall changes. Okay? They got firewall people. Now keep in mind, in most cases, especially if you're doing with my career has been all large enterprise, multi-tiered data centers, multi-data center locations. Okay, all right, always. So I've always been a routing and switch guy, doing routing and switch stuff. Okay, our security guys do the firewalls. Okay, they're the firewall guys. Okay, the security team, and I'm doing air quotes here, Okay, they work on vulnerabilities. They don't do firewall changes. All right, the voice people, the VMware people, the SAM people. Okay, that's how I am wired in my career because of the jobs that I chose. Now, notice I said I chose. Okay, all right, all large enterprise. All right, meaning that every job that I worked at, I chose. Okay, now, don't get me wrong. Okay, it's a choice from what comes to my table, right? Okay, you put out your resume, you're getting emails, you're getting phone calls, right? And you're getting multiple offers, and you're making a choice based on how they respond. All right. At the end, when they say, "Do you have any questions for us?" Yeah, I do have questions for you. That's where my interview starts. Okay. All right. If I'm in an interview and the person is very short with me, okay, if they ask me a question and I give them the wrong answer, I'll say, okay, well, can you tell me what was the right answer? Well, Kyle, we don't have time for that. We have to get through these interviews, okay? All right, that's a person that does not care about the interview. They don't even want to do the interview, okay? All right, but they want somebody there. And it just boggles my mind. Okay, you want something to eat? Take your ass to lunch, right? Okay, get in the car and go get something to eat. Okay, but there are people that be like, I ain't got time. I ain't got time to go and get something to eat and starve, get headaches, get dehydrated, and get dizzy and get cranky and let the sugar drop. Okay, all that stuff, all because they couldn't just go out and get something to eat because they're busy. Okay, always trying to obtain with no attempt to achieve. Okay, and that's another problem that you have in the world today. All right, that you're going to come across. Now, notice in the picture that you're looking at right now, okay, he's cutting out the apostrophe and the T and turning it into I can do it, right? This is what you have to learn. And everything that I have discussed today, even cutting that paper, turning a can into a can, is a skill set. Okay? Have you not realized how networking, like the small part of what we do as far as configuring and troubleshooting and working on the equipment, is a small part of us being engineers? Okay? There's a lot of things in the background. You are managing a skill set, multiple skill sets into one skill set to do your job. You're wearing many hats, okay? And it takes years to get to the point where you can do this flawlessly, like part of your DNA. All right? And nobody talks about this. Okay? All right? Because their focus is, and it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. Okay? You're trying to teach someone an operating system. Okay? A architecture. And every video you create is 2 to 5 minutes long. How is that even possible? Especially like the CCNA materials, just me teaching it. Okay? All the stuff that needs to be done in CCNA is 70 hours of content. Just me. That's not you doing any labbing on your own. Okay? Alright? This is why I don't like how the training in the CCNA perspective has gone. It's just like, so most CCNAs aren't taken seriously. So what we're going to do is we're going to add more content on there, okay? Even though most CCNAs don't even get close to even understanding a quarter of what's in the CCNA topics now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add more material that'll make stronger CCNAs. It's just backwards, okay? All right? I want you to rise above that. I want you to see that backwardsness. Pick your fights. Not every fight's worth fighting. Okay? Laying over with your belly every time someone snarls isn't the way to do it either. Okay? Alright? But that depends on the type of engineer you want to be. Some people don't see engineering as a sense of responsibility. Okay? And it is. Being a senior is a huge responsibility. Okay? And that responsibility is taking responsibility. Alright? Alright? You're the senior guy there, you got a bunch of junior engineers, okay? Your job is to help them, to train them, to be there for them. Okay? Alright? A lot of engineers don't see it that way. Okay? They take enjoyment watching you fail. And that's just something I will never do, even if I'm instructed to do so. Sorry, not gonna do that. Okay? That's just that. And you also got to look at when you're in that environment, attitude reflects leadership. All right? And if attitude reflects leadership, if that's the environment you're in, all right, the door always swings both ways. There has to be another company out there that's the opposite, and they are. Find that company. Okay? So you'll find out over a period of time that you have more of appreciation for a company that makes you feel like you have a purpose. Like when I work for the hospital, okay, all right, hey, ain't no joke. Man, when you go through and look at how a network functions in a hospital, everything's on a network, okay, and there's not a system that is there in that building that is not connected to the network and does not need the network to function in order for doctors, nurses, staff to do their job. Okay? All right? We got critical areas where watching them on camera 24/7, okay? Any hesitation of them getting notification from an alarm, from a video screen, from a button being pushed, okay, could cause that person to die. You're saving lives. Now, in that scenario, how serious would you take your job then? You see my point? But I digress. Okay? Be strong, be determined, be Cisco. I'll see you guys on the next one.